stunning new charges tonight against Democratic Senator Bob Menendez. Federal prosecutors now say the New Jersey lawmaker conspired to act as a foreign agent of Egypt while he was serving as the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Saying, quote, among other actions, Menendez provided sensitive U.S. government information and took other steps that secretly aided the government of Egypt. The superseding indictment filed in Manhattan federal court today accuses Menendez of violating the Foreign Agents Registration Act. As a member of Congress, Menendez is prohibited from being an agent of a foreign government at all, which prosecutors say Menendez is well aware of, since apparently Menendez sent several letters to the D-N.J. asking that they investigate former GOP Congressman David Rivera, who Menendez accused of being an agent for Venezuela. He even posted those letters on the Foreign Relations Committee's website. It's the first time a sitting member of Congress has ever been charged with violating the act since Congress passed it in the 1930s. The new filing comes just weeks after Menendez and his wife, Nadine, pled not guilty to separate bribery charges. Prosecutors say Menendez received gold bars, a Mercedes, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash while using his power and influence to help enrich 3 local businessmen and the Egyptian government. Now, prosecutors want to seize the cash, the gold, car, as well as the Menendez's residence in Jersey. But today's indictment includes 4 new charges. It alleges that from 2018 to 2022, Menendez, his wife, and a New Jersey businessman named Y. Elhana conspired to have the senator act as an agent of Egypt. It includes new photos of the 3 dining with Egyptian officials that prosecutors say were part of a corrupt agreement to provide the senator and his wife with hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes in exchange for official acts taken to benefit the Egyptians. Prosecutors say Menendez helped lift a block on U.S. military aid to Egypt and that he pressured government officials to safeguard this guy Hanna's business monopoly. In return, that Hanna funneled profits, they say, to Menendez. The new indictment also alleges that Nadine Menendez set up an LLC to get the bribe payments. Menendez slamming the new charges, saying in part, quote, I've been throughout my life loyal to only one country, the United States of America, the land my family chose to live in, democracy and freedom. Piling new charge upon new charge does not make the allegations true. The facts haven't changed, only a new charge. It's an attempt to wear someone down. I will not succumb to this tactic. I again ask people who know me and my record to give me a chance to present my defense and show my innocence. Now, remember, more than 30 Senate Democrats had called for him to step down following the last indictment. But nothing happened, right? He's saying, I'm not stepping down. Could these even more dire charges actually lead to Menendez getting the boot? Former Congressman Alan Grayson is back with us. I mean, is there anything about this that could change the equation now and actually lead to him getting kicked out?
No, but what's happening over time is that his counter-arguments simply aren't credible. There's enough facts publicly now to make it clear that he's guilty. I haven't heard all the evidence, but I don't need to hear more than I've already heard. He's guilty. And he hasn't given any alternative explanation for what he's done, except for this foggy notion that he serves on the Foreign Affairs Committee and people don't understand what that means. Well, I served on the Foreign Affairs Committee. I know what it means. He's guilty. And what may happen over time is that the Democrats will view him as a substantial political liability and therefore join with the Republicans to expel him, something that's happened only 15 times in history, 14 times during the Civil War. And once for treason. So it doesn't happen often, hasn't happened in more than 100 years, but I think it ought to happen here. He simply shouldn't be a U.S. senator.
But, you know, the odd thing is it's Republicans who are saying, let it play out. Let's see what happens in court. He deserves due process. And you got all the Democrats saying, give him the boot.
Yes, because the Republicans recognize they can use it to their political advantage if he stays in office. And the Democrats have done that from time to time as well. Back in 2006, for instance, that's the game that they're playing. The real question is, should this person remain in the U.S. Senate, notwithstanding the fact that he won the last election? I think the answer is he doesn't deserve to remain in the U.S. Senate, given what we already know. I would vote to expel him.
Alan Grayson, thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.